Lesson 10.5, Video 4, the distance formula. Now we're trying to find the distance between 2 points given the endpoints. So 2 coordinates given, and the formula reads that you would take the root of the differences of your x values squared plus the differences of your y values squared. So where the midpoint found the average by adding the x's and dividing by 2, the distance formula finds the difference between the x's and the y's, and then they square those differences. Now this is a modification of the Pythagorean theorem, because what we're doing is, for this first example, if I plot the 2 points, here is the coordinate 5, 3, and the coordinate 1, negative 2 would be down here. You are trying to find the distance between each point. Now what the formula does is when you subtract the x and y values, you're basically finding the distance of y values right here and the distance of x values here when you subtract the x's and the y's. And the Pythagorean theorem, if you remember, reads c squared equals a squared plus b squared, but I'm going to write it with y's and x's here. And to find c, if you remember, you had to root. So you have the root of your x squared plus your y squared. Well, to find your x's and y's, you have to do this part of the formula that basically says subtract your y values from the coordinates. And here you'd subtract your x values from the coordinates. So we're doing the Pythagorean theorem in a hidden way, so to speak. That's why the formula looks the way it does. So if we try this question, we know that the distance is equal to the root of the difference in x's. Now notice the formula reads x2 minus x1. The order does not matter. I tend to just go left to right. It's up to you, as long as you're consistent. So I'm going to go 5 minus 1. That's my difference in x's, and I square it. I have 3 minus a negative 2. That's the difference, and I square it. So I have 4 squared, and I have minus a negative, so it becomes plus, which gives us 5 squared. That gives us 16 plus 25 underneath the root, and that gives us 41 when we add them, and that is a good enough answer. But if it says round to the nearest tenth, it's about 6.4. The next one, distance is equal to the root of, again, the differences in x's, so I subtract, then I square. Differences in y's, I have negative 2 minus negative 7. Be very careful about your signs because you're dealing with subtraction, so you got to be very careful about doing it properly. Here we have negative 6 quantity squared, and again this turns to a plus. So now we have negative 2 plus 7, which is 5 squared. Negative 6 squared is quantity squared, so it's negative 6 times negative 6, and we get 36 plus 25. So our distance is equal to the root of 61, which is approximately 7.8. And this ends Lesson 10.5, Video 4.